Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to talk to you guys about how I went about scheduling our homeschool year. Now I am scheduling for myself and my sister with our kids because we school together. So it is going to look a little bit different, but I am going to explain to you if it was just yourself with your kiddos that are in different grades, how you would manipulate everything so that it can work together. So I will kind of show you how I did it, how I went about planning out our schedule, and how it works best for us. So basically what I started off by doing is I wrote down the kids' names. So we have Tally, we have Ari, and we have Juliana. Now I have a pre-K'er and I'm not going to write his name down quite yet because I am going to be kind of putting him in where there is available space. I know that sounds crazy, but you'll see what I mean once I get there. So the second thing I did was I thought about the classes that they are doing the same things, not together, but the same curriculum. So basically all three of them will be doing Bible with Abeka. So I'm going to write Bible all the way across. The next thing that I knew that they were all going to be doing the same would be teaching textbooks, and that would be math. Another thing that I know that they will all be working through is the Abeka's Language Arts and Abeka's English. So the two younger girls basically have the same classes, but in different grades. So they both have language, they both have spelling, they have writing, and they have reading. Okay, so with Juliana, she has English 8. So that entails grammar, literature, and spelling, okay? But what they do with Abeka is they have it in one really long video that's about 40 minutes long, okay? Now for the girls, I know that their Bible's going to take about the same amount of time. Their math is going to be scattered, so I'm guessing that Ari will be done before Tally and then Juliana will be done last just because Juliana's in a higher grade, so it's going to be more extensive. But I don't know about the two little ones. They kind of may fluctuate on who's going faster or not. So with the language, I know that Tally's language is about 30 minutes, and I want to say that Ari's is probably between 25 minutes and 30. Okay, so that's pretty close. Their spelling, I can't remember. I want to say it's like 10 or 15 minutes. Their writing's about 15 to 20, depending on what they are doing in writing. And then their reading, it just depends on how much they have to read for that day. So I am guessing that their classes together will probably last about an hour, okay? So I'm just going to go 1 hour. Give or take a little bit. And that goes for all the classes. All three of them are going to have science. Now these girls, the younger ones, have the good and the beautiful. So Ari has the good, the beautiful, and then we have Juliana that has science through apologia. Okay, so then next they all have history, right? But their history is different. So the girls is Our Star Spangled Story. And then Juliana's is through Notgrass, but hers is civics. So we'll just write that. Let's do all of the girls. So they all have geography, and this is just, they're all doing it together, except they're doing some things grouped off in different grades. Like Juliana has some workbook pages that she'll do that have to do with older kids, and the younger girls will do younger things specifically for their age. And then the younger girls have health, Juliana has typing. Okay, so the next thing that I did was I started to figure out their lineup and how it would work. So I'm going to show you what I came up with. Okay, you guys, so I kind of want to step away from explaining what our classes look like together using my sister and myself and the kids, because most of you are going to be teaching alone. So this is basically my daughter's schedule. Now I'm going to explain to you what I would do if it was just myself teaching my daughter and my son. So for instance, we have Bible here, and because my son is so young, he does sit in sometimes with group Bible, but for the most part he does not. So I would do Bible with Tally first thing in the morning, and then our second subject would be math. And while she would be working through her math with her video with teaching textbooks, I would be teaching my son. Okay, so we're basically doing that now, even though my sister is here with me. So I would be teaching him his class. Now, if Tally needed help, she would still come to me and I would help her. She may have to wait on me for a minute or two while I'm discussing something with Isaiah, or she could move on to the next lesson. And we would go back and figure out what the problem was when she needed help. So the next subject we would have is history. Now history, it is parent-led, so I would work with Tally during this time, and my son, he would be having playtime, maybe working through his sensory bins. He could watch TV, anything like that. I'm not too strict. He could work on his Osmo. So I would figure out something for him to do while I was working through history. Then she would step into her language class, which is through Rebecca, and that is video led. So I would have her do that. And then I would again work with my son, or I'd prepare lunch or something like that. So the next few classes Tally has is Rebecca. So again, she'd be working through language. She'd step into spelling. I would have her do that with the class until it was her test day, and then I would do it with her. Then she has reading. So reading we do together. So when she would be doing spelling, I would be working with Isaiah. Once she stepped into reading, I would be working with her. And then it would go into health and science classes. And when they're parent-led, again, I would be teaching her and my son would be taking a break. Now, if you have older kids, what I would suggest is while you are working parent-led with your kiddos, the ones that have some student-led classes or independent classes, I would just have them work on those as you were doing the parent-led. Now, if you have kids that you could work together with certain things, definitely take that opportunity to do them as group lessons. And then stepping into writing, Tally does writing mainly with her class, or she does independent work. So again, I would be working with Isaiah. And then geography, me and Tally do together. So we would be working through geography while Isaiah would be playing for the rest of the day. But anytime I would be able to do any type of group lessons, I would do them together as a group, and any kids that were either older or too young to be able to sit in on those classes, I would just have them do independent work or read their reading books, or, you know, do something like that, hands-on, take a break, anything like that. But that is basically how I would juggle it if it was just myself and my two kids. Now, because my sister is with us with my nieces, what we've done is we've combined our classes as much as we could, just depending on the kids' ages and the grades that they were in. So what we did here is we started with Bible for all of the kids. I will be teaching Tally, my sister's teaching her two girls, and then I will be teaching my oldest niece with Tally within a couple months, just to make our Bible curriculums work for our oldest. So the next class is math. During math class, the kids are doing that on their own with teaching textbooks. My sister walks around, she helps them when she needs or when they need help, and I work with Isaiah. Then we step into our third period class, and that's science with my oldest niece. My sister does it with her, and then I'm working with the younger kids through our history and our landforms. I've moved landforms up to our Thursday spot, so I actually do geography in place of history here. And then moving on down to the next lesson here. So when we are working through science and history, I forgot to mention, that's when my son's just doing whatever he would like. Then we move down into our English and language classes. The kids are working through this on their own, and at that time, one of us is preparing lunch and the other one is working with Isaiah. It switches, it just depends on who he wants to work with or who wants to make lunch or who needs a moment without kids. So we kind of just separate and do whatever we feel is right for that time. So the kids get to eat after fourth period class, and then they come back and our oldest niece works through her English. She just continues on through her English lessons, and then the younger kids start their spelling. At this time, again, we switch off. One of us is working with my son, while the other one is helping out with whatever, spelling lists, spelling tests, flashcards, whatever the case may be. And then going into sixth period, my oldest niece has typing class, and then our two youngest girls have reading. So reading, we take turns, like I'll teach Tally, my sister will teach Ari. If I'm busy doing something, my sister will work between the two girls. We just kind of wing it as we're getting closer to the bottom half of our day, the last part of our day. It's kind of like off schedule a little bit sometimes, but we always seem to manage, guys. So moving on from typing and reading, that is when I go and I teach my oldest niece her history. When I'm teaching history, my sister teaches the younger girls health and science. I originally was teaching health and my sister was teaching science, but I wasn't ready and there in time to teach health, so the girls were waiting on me as I finished up history, because my oldest niece and myself, we get kind of tied up into history class together. Just on discussions and things. So my sister decided to take over health, so she does health and science with the younger girls. At that time, again, Isaiah's just hanging out, you guys. And then we move into our eighth period class. We have changed things around for Juliana. Yearbook is one of her electives this year, and we've added in for teacher's assistant for helping with Isaiah. We thought that that would be a lot of fun for her. So on Mondays, she's doing yearbook. Tuesdays, she's helping with Isaiah. Wednesdays, she's doing yearbook. Thursday, she's helping with Isaiah. And then Friday, she also has yearbook. I'll go through Fridays with you guys in a moment. So then while she's working through her eighth grade class, the two younger girls are going through their writing classes. Now, Tally has writing a little bit different than Ari does. Ari specifically does Abeka. With writing, I have Abeka, Evan Moore, and The Good and the Beautiful. I go and I switch off things to make it more fun for Tally, just because the penmanship is kind of redundant this year. So I'm trying to switch it up for her to make it more interesting. I really want her to love writing and finding her creativity in that. So I have these three choices here for her, and that's how I schedule out her week. The last class we have here is geography. All the kids do this together. Isaiah doesn't really, he'll come out and hang out with us, but the girls are usually just working through this on their own. Now, Juliana, our eighth grade niece, or my eighth grade niece, is actually doing this class with the girls because she wanted to be involved in a class, and we thought that this one would work. It is a class that she already knows. She's already done U.S. geography. So what we've done is we've incorporated a workbook for her to do as the girls work through their workbooks. And her workbook is specifically for 7th and 8th graders for world geography, so mapping and things like that. So she works through those after they do their readers. So Friday, we just tried to make it a little bit less work and more fun things. Now, they're still doing work. I can't cut everything out. I wish I could, you guys, but I just mentally cannot do that yet. I'm not there yet, you guys. Maybe one day I will be, but right now we're just cutting back. So we do group Bible together as a family, and we are really enjoying that. The next subject, Juliana starts on her English. The younger girls start on their language. They follow through with English and spelling. The younger girls are having their spelling tests on Fridays if they don't pass their trial tests. So we've done it that way because these are all video led. So while they're doing that, again, we work with Isaiah. Then all the kids do geography together. From geography, I work through Juliana's history test with her, and then my sister works with the girls with their U.S. presidents. And then, oh, I forgot to mention with the geography, the girls usually just sit at the table together. I'll go over and kind of oversee what they're doing, but they work through that, mainly the highlights together. I do our 50 states with them, and then I kind of help them with their mapping and stuff like that. But when they're working through their highlights books, I just let them do it together as a fun activity. It's critical thinking and problem solving and stuff like that. So they do that together. So when they're working through that, my sister usually has Isaiah. So then I work with Juliana on history. My sister does US presidents. And then the last thing here for Juliana is yearbook. Now US history is tending to last a little bit longer because my sister's adding in some fun drawing activities with the kids, and they watch a cool video and stuff like that. So we have this for her next period class to kind of do these two with the time that they use doing US presidents, because her history test doesn't take her long at all. So she does yearbook. And then the last class here, I forgot to put it here, you guys, but it is craft or an art or a game. Now, we still haven't figured this out yet. We've tried doing a craft and a game on the same day, and it just seems to be a little bit hectic and crazy and takes really long. So we're trying to figure out, we do want to have some sort of art or craft in a day, and we do want to have a game a day, but we just have to figure out how we are going to plan that out. On the days that we go over in time or it's getting too late, we may not play a game. I don't know, we're kind of playing that one as we go. So that is how we scheduled it out. Those are the reasons why we scheduled it out this way. It's working out great, but that is mainly like my best suggestions to you is when your kiddos can do things on their own for independent work and you have some parent-led things to do with some of the kids, kind of just bounce the kids back and forth within those classes so that you can oversee and help when you need to. Don't get overwhelmed, mama. If you are being overwhelmed and pulled in every direction, change your schedule, change your plan, take a break. You know, give the kids a couple minutes to play if you're not ready to help them while you're helping someone else. That's probably the best advice, because I know I get overwhelmed when I'm still on a class and I'm supposed to be on the next class and one kid's calling me for one thing and the other's calling me for another. I mean, even though it's me and my sister doing it together, I still feel overwhelmed at times, you guys. So you're not alone if you feel that way. Just keep pushing forward. But this is how we do our planning, and I hope that it was helpful in some sort of way. If you guys have any questions, let me know down in the comments. If you haven't already subscribed, we'd love to have you here on Simply Homeschool as a part of our family and our community for homeschooling. Thanks again, you guys. Be safe, be blessed, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.
Had more of your smile? What if the wind could spread your love? What if your sweetness could reach everyone? There'd be no wars,